What's up guys, this is part 2 of the K-Swap Miata build. In the last video we got the stock engine and transmission pulled out of this thing, and in today's video we are going to be focusing on our new K-Series engine that will be going into the car. As you can see, this one still has everything on it as far as the intake manifold goes and the exhaust manifold. We still have our wiring harness on there, power steering pump, the alternator. I am going to be stripping this thing down, and my plan is to stick this into the Miata without any accessories on it. Anything we need to put onto the engine we will do once it is back in the car. So that includes the new intake manifold we got, the new exhaust manifold, all the little engine accessories. We'll do that once we get this thing stuffed back in there. It'll just give me a lot more room to work around the engine while we're getting it back into the car and stuff. But there is a lot of things that need to be done before this is ready to go back into the car. So besides all of that stuff needing to come off, we also have to get the oil pan off of there and get this new custom oil pan thrown on that was provided in the kit from K-Power. And we have our little deal that will go onto the oil pump. So there's some things we have to do to get this oil pan fitted to our new engine over there. And I think that will be best done on an engine stand so we can flip it upside down and get to all of that stuff. Something else I had to track down that this kit does not come with is a clutch. And right here we have a used Miata 1.8 clutch. It is just the stock spec clutch. I guess any 1.8 Miata clutch will work with this kit. The kit, like I said, does not come with one. This one I found locally. I got it through a friend of a friend. The guy's name is Patrick, so thank you, Patrick. That saved us some time. I was able to just go and pick it up, and we have our clutch ready to go. Now this is an aftermarket clutch. Supposedly it will handle up to 300 foot-pounds of torque, and it came out of a car that made 250 wheel horsepower. So even if we turboed the Miata one day, this clutch will probably hold up for a little bit on low boost, but it will be perfect for our all-motor application for the time being. And something else I found out is that this kit also does not include the flywheel bolts. They sell them separate on the website, which I did not know about. And I ordered some flywheel bolts through a local dealership that will be here tomorrow. My plan was to try to get the transmission made it up to the engine today and hopefully get it stuck into the car, but we need the flywheel bolts, so we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow until we can do that. But for today, I'm gonna go ahead and get the stand for the engine, get the engine on the stand, and start tearing everything we don't need off of the engine and get it ready. So then tomorrow, once we do have the flywheel bolts, we can go ahead and put the flywheel on, get the transmission on there, get our adapter plate and everything set up, and then we can stick this thing into the car and keep on going. So I'm super excited. A couple more parts to come in, and we'll have everything we need here to get this thing knocked out. But let's go ahead and start getting this engine all tore down. Check out all this junk we're not gonna need anymore, except maybe the alternator. I'm not sure yet, but just pulled all of this stuff off of our K-Series, and right now I'm getting ready to clip this thing all the way upside down because we need to get the oil pan pulled off of this thing and get our custom aluminum oil pan thrown on there. And it has a different pickup tube on it, as you guys saw in the unboxing video. We have this stuff to get on there, and obviously to get all that on there, we need to get the pan off. So I tilted it over. It still had a full oil change in it, or a full, amount of oil in it. Can't talk right now. It was full of oil, and I had to drain all the oil out of this thing. Got all the oil out. She's ready to flip upside down and get that pan off and get the new pickup on and get our new aluminum pan on. All right, boys, I went ahead and got the oil pan pulled off of this thing, and I was looking at the installation guide that K-Power has on their website. They have a really nice walkthrough guide on doing the whole swap with pictures and everything on the website. And turns out you actually need a Type S oil pump on this thing, and this is the factory K24 oil pump, this big bulky one. This is not the one we can use with that pan because it has, you know, that hump that goes in there, and then that piece goes to the Type S pump. So that's what this guy is for, so it can work with that hump that's in the pan for the steering rack and stuff. So Jason over at JBR has some in stock, and he's bringing me one right now, and we'll get this guy swapped out, and then we'll be able to get everything on there that we need and get the aluminum pan on.
Buddy, look at all these shavings. Oh yes.
He looks pretty good under there. This is a bone stock motor. Everything appears to be okay, so it's also good to take a look at it since it's never, you know, been ran for a while.
It's kind of crazy that those things are chain driven, you know, almost like gear driven or some stuff, or right off the snout of the crank.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Chain drive, baby. All right, Jason just came through with the Type S pump. So we are ready to go. That pickup that is on there is going to come off, and the plate replaces that, which I'll show you guys once we get that far. But what do you think about a JBR engine going in the Miata?
I mean, yeah, if the chassis can handle the power, I mean...
I don't know. I don't think Garza could handle the power.
He can handle the power? I don't know.
I don't know if he could...
I don't think so.
I don't know what he'd do with 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah.
In a little Miata like this.
I don't think the chassis will take 1,200. And the owner. I don't know. I don't know about
build him a 7-second Miata real quick. Just like the MR2.
That kind of be pretty badass. Like,
wouldn't that be sick? Let me know, guys. Maybe we'll pick up a Miata and do one for ourselves. See how this one goes.
Nice. Probably with a 67. You probably don't need all that turbo to go faster than that.
That'd be cool.
It'd be light. It'd be nice.
Or maybe we'll just get Garza good enough at driving it, and we can convince him to upgrade it. Take it down to the track. All right, guys, just got this oil pump pulled apart. You can actually see the oil pump gear inside of there. Thought I'd show you guys in case you've never seen the inside of an oil pump, but the whole oiling system for the entire engine is responsible by that little gear right there. Just kind of meshes together. So pretty cool. This guy went on like that. There was no gasket, just metal on metal, 5 bolts. That guy comes off, and then this is our new one, and that goes on like so, and then that goes to the pickup tube right there. So pickup tube will come off that guy and go into our new sump on the new pan, and we'll be good to go. So go ahead and get that bolted on. I had to get pretty messy here, so we actually had to take the whole front cover off of the engine, because not only do we have to change the pump out for the Type S pump, but when doing that you have to change out this chain that drives the oil pump, because the K24 one is a different size, and the guide, we are going to swap all that stuff over. And then we also need a windage tray from a K20, because we are no longer using this K24 windage tray. This is like a 2-piece deal. So I actually am putting the windage tray off of the MR2's old engine. This is the one that went 8.3 in the quarter mile. I'm gonna steal this windage tray while I have another one ordered on the way, just so I can get some things done here. But stealing that one, and I'm stealing the chain and guide off of this guy, so we can get this motor together for Garza here. All right, the oil pump is on and ready to go. Got the chain on, got the guides on, and the new piece from K-Power to go to the new pickup, and we are ready to go. And also, when we take the K24 oil pump off, you cannot forget to take this little plug out right here. You just take a wood screw and use a screwdriver and thread it into that little hole, and it will catch enough to pull it out. I just used this little guy right here. So threaded that guy in there, popped it out with some vice grips, and then we need to find a 12mm head Honda bolt that will fit right into that guy, because as you can see, it's threaded down in there, and we can just thread a bolt into there and plug that guy up. On some of these K24s, it is not threaded on the block right there, and you actually have to weld that hole shut. And you need to do this, because if you don't, it will lose a lot of oil pressure, because oil will just start squirting out of there. So get that guy plugged up, we can get our windage tray on there and move on from there, get our timing chain and everything put back together, get the pan on this thing, and start working on the flywheel and clutch, and work on getting the transmission mated up to this thing so we can get it in the car. But we still have a lot to do, so let's keep on going. I was just getting everything cleaned off, getting ready to put this front cover back on, grab my silicone, and when I went to take the cap off, look at how this stuff dried up in the cap. It dried up so perfectly in there. It's kind of satisfying. Look at that. Even matched the threads. That is just pure silicone gasket maker right there. But gotta rip that guy off so we can get all this stuff sealed up and get her back together. All right, the pump and pickup are all done. Front cover's on. It's time to get the pan on. Just got her coated with a bead of silicone. We already test fitted it to make sure that everything's lined up good. And you can kind of see how that pickup tube comes over here, and it will suck oil out of this section right there. Has a nice little baffle in there with a trap door. You can hear it going on in there. So yeah, this is a really nice pan. Get her on. And then after this is done, we're about ready to go with the engine. Just like that. And we have to put bolts all the way around. There were 2 studs that had nuts from factory, but we had to pull those out because the aluminum was a little thicker and they weren't long enough. So yeah, get her all tightened down. Ready to go. So we got the pan on, and we couldn't help ourselves. Put the cover on and the intake and exhaust manifold, and this thing looks freaking sick. Now we are ready to get this off the stand and get the adapter plate and all this stuff on and work on getting the transmission. Made it up to our new K series for the Miata. Hell yeah, that K-tune valve cover thing is freaking awesome. So I got the clutch and flywheel all mounted up, and I was in the process of mating up the transmission. And it turns out you actually have to notch this for the K-Series starter, because the Miata starter is on this side from factory and there's the hump for it. So we actually need to notch this out right here where I have it marked out. You can see the starter sticking through. And they said the best way to do it is just take a 2-inch hole saw and get that guy on there like that, and it looks nice and clean instead of angle grinding it out. But you could just angle grind it, do whatever you need to do to clearance it. But we're gonna go ahead and hole saw it out, and then we can get the transmission all mated up. All right, just got the transmission all mated up to the engine here. There's still a couple more things we need to get on here before it's ready to go into the car. There's some coolant fittings and stuff like that, but it just needs minor things and it's ready to go in. But before we can do that, we actually need to get this subframe pulled off of the Miata here, the stock one, and get that out of the way for the tubular one that came with the kit. So looks like we're gonna have to unbolt these control arms, and looks like just a couple bolts holding it in, get some lines out of the way, get the steering rack off, and drop her on out, get the new one in, and then I think we're gonna pull out this AC condenser, get all the lines out of the way that came with that, clear up some more room, stuff we don't need, and then we can go ahead and lower it back down and get this thing dropped in there. This thing looks so sad without the subframe in it. Looks like a scared puppy at the vet. Don't worry, we're gonna take good care of you. We're gonna be up and ripping in no time. All right, guys, we just got the subframe in the car. There's still a couple more things we need to get bolted up, like the steering rack and the upper control arms, but the subframe is in there and looking awesome. We got to hook this back up to the steering column as well. But we are almost ready to get the K-Series with the transmission back into Garza's Miata here. And I was hoping to have it in there by this video, but we are calling it there. We had a lot to get done, a little bit more than I expected, but we made a lot of progress in today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. In the next one, we will definitely have the K-Series in the car, and we will be one step closer to getting this thing back up and ripping again and get Garza doing some burnouts. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, and we will get this thing in the car. Keep on going from there.